Welcome back to Relationship Realities on Mondays, where the culture meets connection. On Mondays, we are the go to podcast for deep dives on relationships, on the Black culture, and any and every trending topic. We are going to deep dive with real, honest feedback, discussions, fresh perspectives. Welcome to Relationship Realities. And also welcome my co-host, Free.
What's up, everybody? How you doing this week, Lessa?
I I'm I'm doing great. I came off my birthday weekend. I'm feeling
Yeah.
good. I had a great
Okay.
weekend. It I'm 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 still on a high from
Okay. Looks like you turned the clock back a little bit.
you. Oh, feel special. How was your
Hey,
week?
we get better, not older.
I know. I was just telling a friend how it seems like this year has opened a lot of doors. It
Mm.
I have so much more wisdom and a lot. God has really, spoke a lot into me, and it's different. I love it. I'm excited. I'm excited about
Okay.
2025, despite all of the chaos that's been going on. I am excited. Excited.
Okay. All right. We here with you, rolling through it.
Yes. Okay. So we got to. It's so much to talk about, but we got a couple of topics that I think we really need to address. One of them being the question: should airlines enforce dress codes? Now, if you are planning to fly Spirit anytime soon, wearing a crop top or even what's considered a controversy tattoo may get you kicked off the flight. They have now enforced a dress code. What are
And
your initial thoughts about that?
I ask, what is wrong with that? I, in particular, I don't see anything wrong with it. I am of the belief that in this realm, rules come about out of necessity. Um,
Hmm.
No, we go to the corner store. I don't know about your hood, but my hood on the door, no shirt, no shoes, no service. Same thing on this airline. Why do they have to make a rule that says you can't be barefoot? Why do they have to make a rule you have a shirt on, but it's see through? Why do I have to make no shirt, no shoes, no service?
A lot of people saying that you're being you're dis you're being discriminatory, and I should be
Okay.
able to wear my crop top. I should be able to wear my fashionable see-through outfit.
There's
It's
one thing about being fashionable versus being too revealing. I mean, I still have little kids and I don't want to have the conversation on, oh, can we dress like I don't want to have that conversation with my daughters on the airline. And to be perfectly honest with you, ladies, it ain't me, but I kind of read over the rules a little bit. And seems like it's the ladies for the most part. So, according to the revised policy, passengers are prohibited from wearing see through clothing. Don't know too many guys wearing see through clothing. There are some, but I don't know many. Attire that inadequately covers private parts, such as exposed breast or buttocks. Again, don't know too many fellas that's walking around with exposed private parts and butt cheeks and man boobs out. Clothing or body art that is lewd, obscene, or offensive in nature. Now, that could go to a guy,
yeah.
depending on what he has on the clothing. Body art. So we're talking tattoos that could be offensive, or obscene. And then the last one is barefoot. Like, why are we having to make these kind of rules? If you have to make those kind of rules, I think it, like I said at the beginning, it's got to be out of necessity. I've never heard Delta have to make this, United have to make this, American have to. I've never heard of these other airlines having to make this rule public. Do they have it? Yes, they do. But it's about any other law, discretion. At the officer's discretion, he can give you a ticket, but will he if it's close? So I don't see them really enforcing this unless it's just, too out of line.
I don't know. In the chat, let me know. Do you guys think that Spirit Airlines is overstepping a little bit? It's funny because I don't know if you remember, Free, a while ago, a famous restaurant here in H Town made a decision to start enforcing or actually having a dress code policy, and it blew up to so much so that there was a young lady who protested and stripped butt naked and walked up to this facility. Mind you, there are plenty of restaurants in the Houston area that have a dress code. Whether or not they strictly enforce it is a different story. But a lot of people are saying, hey, this is my culture, this is who I am, specifically when it comes to the whole bonnet discussion.
See, culture. Like, I think that has become more of a buzzword than it has like real true meaning. Like, there bonnet culture, do rag culture, like barefoot culture, see through clothing on plane culture. Like, we just gonna throw culture on the end of everything to make everyone be inclusive. Like, I get it. Everyone deserves to do what they want to do, feel how they want to feel, until it infringes upon the right of another human being. And that's constitution. So my right to not see your naked body is being infringed when you come in here on this flight with no clothes on. Like, that's I think that we are eventually finding ourselves back to explaining the basics of life. Like, there are certain things that you just can't do. What's the famous question that you used to get asked if you want to go do something everybody else doing? Everybody else jumping off a bridge, you gonna jump off a bridge? Well, if everybody flying naked, you gonna fly naked. If everybody's around here with no shoes on, you gonna fly with no. Some things come down to couth and tact and just moral decency. And I think this is receiving more spotlight because it's a mandate. People don't like rules. People don't like to be told what to do. I'll never forget. There used to be these magicians, Penn and Teller. They had a show called Bull Beat, and they did a little blurb on handicap parking. People always want to get the handicap parking. Why? Because it's close, right? They went back to, I think it's 1965, the ADA, or it might have been 74, I'm sorry, the ADA Act, where that started to be enforced. People parking in those spots shot up through the roof. Before that, it was at our discretion. Oh, you know what? You're handicapped. Let me get out of the way. It was just common courtesy. But when you enforce something, you try to force people to do things, it doesn't work.
I agree. I also believe wholeheartedly, and this is something I'm trying to teach my younger daughters, because they see other people out and about in bonnets and house slippers and pajama pants, that your attire speaks volumes for how people perceive you.
Perceive you. Yeah.
And I did a podcast about this or before, where it's how people, not always on purpose, but because we in our society here in Western, we don't have a caste system. So the only way for people to truly put you in these boxes are these class systems, is based upon how you look. And based upon how you look, that is how they are initially going to treat you. Regardless of whether or not that's fair or not, it's the human way of thinking. No, not everything is going to be fair, but that's just, it is what it is. And so
Yeah.
if you don't want someone to treat you as Pookie and Ray Ray and them, then you need to dress the part.
Yeah. And I think people have a tendency to not really understand that while we don't have the caste system, we have the caste system. What you flying? Spirit. Oh, like it's natural. Like you don't have to tell me who this is targeted at. You know how many times I've flown Spirit? Zero. Not because I don't want to. They don't go where I need to go. I haven't had the need to fly that budget yet.
You're very
Now
fortunate.
I have flown on the budget. I've flown Frontier. Didn't have any of them problems.
Okay.
Right. But I don't have these problems on United. I don't do I see people in attire that's not business, that's not cat. Yeah, you do, but it ain't Soul Plane.
Not the Soul Plane
I mean,
reference.
and then just keep it in a buck. If I can fly a stripper from Vegas to Miami for $150, she gonna get on Spirit. And she gonna come straight out the club to the airport in her see-through
Oh,
and get right on the plane. So they're
I
saying, hey, don't get on our flights like that. And not only are you getting on the flight like that, though, you're walking through the airport like that. You're, exposing, yourself to the judgment. Is it fair? No, I'm not saying that. But you are exposing yourself to the judgment. And there are some people, they just don't care. And unfortunately, that is the crowd that, Spirit caters to. I mean, this is probably a great airline. College, I wish Spirit was around when I was in college.
Oh.
I mean, this is a great opportunity to visit all those great spring break destinations. I need to get home real quick for a holiday, or $100. Yeah, cool. But that shouldn't be the only thing Spirit is known for. And I'm sure that the CEO was like, you know what, there's just too much. And I think about Denzel from American Gangster. Said, well, why'd you name it Frank's? When you own it, you can call it what you want. And when you own something, you can make whatever rules you want.
Facts. So, speaking of, do you believe that this is going to hurt or change the perception of Spirit? Because now we have a dress code policy, and that could potentially, deter certain people from flying on the airline.
So what I see is, I think it will briefly get ugly and then it'll smooth out, because you're going to have those initial people. Are they going to let me fly and go up? No, you're not going to fly. And we're going to have that cycle. Probably, I don't say probably through the next month, but it'll be rectified by spring break. I think you will have those people that will naturally, want to buck the system. But I also think that Spirit, they may not come out and say it, but it will be dialed back to the discretion of that gate agent or the person that, the flight attendants that are letting you on and things of that nature. I don't think it'll hurt them at all. I mean, there's nowhere you can go and fly across the country for $89. I mean, you might catch Southwest on one of those, but I mean, on a regular basis,
yeah.
that's just what it is. I mean, come on. Again, we don't have the caste system. Everybody hates, quote unquote, classism. Tarjay versus the Walmartians. I mean, it's there. I mean, it's natural. So whether you feel it's right, wrong, indifferent, it's happening. So here is just exposing it a little bit more. And if you don't want to be perceived that way, you'll probably change your behavior.
I hope so. I hope so. Like you said, I think we're gonna see a lot of world star videos pop up with this new policy
You
that
know
they are
what?
enforcing.
I'm gonna let my capitalism show. You know what, Spirit? Do away with that dress code and charge them for wearing it. You charge for everything. Yeah, you want a window seat? Extra $5. Oh, you want a see-through? $10. No shoes? $20. Yeah, let's see what happens then.
Interesting point. Interesting point.
Get them in the pocket.
Our next topic. If you have been following social media, looking at any of the news stations, DEI, better known as diversity, equity, and
Equity and inclusion.
inclusion, is now become a dirty word. We have multiple companies who are pulling out of the DEI programs, as well as scaling back on their social media. A lot has been said. And again, a lot of these companies are pulling back from the programs because of a decision that our current president has decided to eliminate the program. There's a lot of confusion, and a lot to be understood and revealed. There have been many companies who've, out of concern and scared to be sued, have abruptly made changes. And then recently I saw that some of them have come back and said, hey, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. So this is really new topic. And I definitely think we're going to come back and visit this, because what we see now, I think, is going to be totally different from what we see, let's say, a month from now. But what's really an issue is a lot of these major companies are pulled out of these programs: Amazon, Walmart, Target, McDonald's. And a lot of people are concerned and very upset. Particularly, they're boycotting, straight up boycotting these stores. And so one of my first questions, what do you think the DEI program is supposed to accomplish?
So I think the DEI program was a soft repackaging of affirmative action. Affirmative action is mandated, it's supported and backed up by laws. It's got to have a qualitative foundation, something that we could put numbers to see what the progress is. DEI, it's voluntary. It's qualitative and quantitative, but it's more quantitative than it is qualitative. It's more about feeling. It's more about culturally accepting everyone and everything, which I'm totally not against.
Mm.
Um, but I think it was a good thing, to be perfectly honest with you. Um, and I also believe that the pulling back of DEI is a good thing. Actually, I'm going to go a step further and say it's a great thing because you get to see who people really are. Oh, see, that's why I go to Target. Yeah, as long as it was putting money in their pocket, and then they say, "Oh, we don't have to do this." Oh, y'all really, you don't really care about us? It was just about the money. Yes, they want to diversify to get your equity and include you in their bottom line. So if it benefits them, great. But it doesn't surprise me the people that are pulling out. It more surprises me about the people who are staying in. Jamie Dimon, got CEO of JP Morgan Chase, the guy he reached there, they just had earnings. They have made the most money of any business ever the last year.
Ooh.
And he chose to keep DEI. You know why? It's money, and he wants everybody's money. I'm not saying that he doesn't have a heart, that he's not empathetic or sympathetic or anything of that nature. But at the end of the day, that's some real money. Target can go out of business at some point. Walmart can go out of business at some point. That bank, that one in particular, that better be there for everybody's sake.
Mhm.
So the people who really understand it and really have a conscience in their business, those are the people that decided to keep it. If you remember last week, you asked a question about the TikTok ban. What should it have taught the people that make content? And if you remember my answer, it was, well, you better have a platform because now having content don't make no sense. And that's what Tabitha actually spoke about. She was like, well, y'all, they might have rolled back the program, but it ain't as easy as taking it off the shelf because where I'm gonna put it. Right. So I mean, it sounds good. If every major grocery store, every major multi-departmental store out there said, oh, we don't support DEI either, I bet people are not gonna starve. So there is something that needs to be done.
Yeah.
But I mean, at some point, how long we been saying this? We got to do something for ourselves. I mean, and we
So
have we have a black platform, but not many people go use it. We have, black companies, but not many people are going to, the new Black Wall Street website to see who we can buy from and who these, producers are that we can support and that support us back. And I hate to say it as blunt as this, but as a whole, we lazy. We still lazy. And and the reason I say that is, and I know there are probably a million people that, oh, I'm not lazy. And I'm not talking to you, but I'm talking to the other 5 billion that are. We got to realize how significant we are, but we
mhm.
also have to realize how insignificant our singularity is. Everybody, everybody I know cannot go to Walmart. Guess what? Walmart's still going to be $1 billion company at the end of the year until we all affect everybody enough. Then we will see some real change. I mean, I had a conversation earlier today. I think it was Germany. The government said something about their farming and all this and try to do a ban. You know what they did? They took to the streets. The farmers, they got together, scooped up manure, drove it, dropped it in the middle of the street, dropped it on, the Capitol building steps, and they changed their tune. There are not enough of us that will go without
Mm.
to make a point firm enough that inspires big enough change.
I had a very intense conversation with my cousin about this, and he he was very similar position as you. He didn't see any benefit to the DEI, and he basically said that the DEI was like government cheese,
Mm,
that people always want some handouts and don't want to work for it. And I challenged that thought process because I said most of the people that actually benefit from that DEI don't have that type of mindset because they have some sort of secondary education, whether that be technical school, whether that be college, PhD, doctorate. And I said, do you honestly believe that without the DEI program, that someone would have picked up you or my resume with the names Shatirika and, Bootsy, if they were not forced to? And then realize once the resumes were in their face, oh, this person is talented. Oh, this person is qualified. And I have a prime example where I had a girlfriend who I used to work with. She purposely changed her name on her resume
wow.
and received twice as many callbacks than she did using her birth given name because it was too black.
Mm.
So I challenged the position and said that I believe it does have some bearing because I can't tell you whether or not my resume would have got picked up by multiple corporations because my name sounds black.
So I'll say this to that point. Yeah, it would have got picked up. Um, and it's been picked up. Has it been called back every single time? Probably not. But there's a difference. And I don't think the distinction between affirmative action and DEI is wide enough for people to really grab a hold of just the DEI piece. So I'll give an example that I know men will get, and I hope some women will get, but I know men will get it because it's a sports analogy. So in the NFL, affirmative action is what's called the Rooney Rule. So in 2003, the NFL mandated teams must interview one minority candidate for head coaching and senior football operations positions.
Mhm.
All right. So no matter, I know you're not going to hire me, but this rule says I at least have to get you in the door. You might change my mind. You might not, but you at least have to come in here. Let's look at this real quick. I felt like I knew Dion ain't going nowhere. He's not leaving Colorado. Intelligent move on the part of Jerry Jones to interview him. Big name, a lot of noise. No, he's not leaving to satisfy the Rooney Rule. And there were no other black candidates that were interviewed. And he chose his coach, I think, yesterday.
Mhm.
White guy, last name Schottenheimer. He's the son of Marty Schottenheimer. So it still works. Just because they put this rule in here doesn't make it, the magic pill. Now, here's DEI. DEI is Magic Johnson's ownership in the Washington Commanders. Now, there was a point in time where at that level, and this was very recent, all 32 owners were white.
Mhm.
And now this is what DEI looks like. That's not affirmative action because that level is below ownership. Affirmative action says I have to include you in everything. Not owning it, DEI gave the opportunity for ownership.
Mhm.
So it wasn't mandated. It was a cultural shift because they saw, oh, basketball, there's a couple teams out there with some, black partial ownership out there. People didn't say DEI when Jay-Z owned his stake in the Nets. People didn't think about DEI because it wasn't a buzzword, but that was DEI. That wasn't affirmative action. DEI got Jay-Z as, the Super Bowl entertainment piece. That's DEI, not affirmative action. So there are companies out there that are run on culture. So they naturally have to do what they were trying to say DEI is. I think at some point, yeah, we would have gotten better halftime shows that were catered more to people that had a diverse background of music. 10 years ago, we would have never saw Dr. Dre, Snoop, 50, and Eminem at the halftime show.
Facts.
We would have never saw that. So that's DEI at work. But it wasn't DEI. So did we need DEI? No. It eventually caught up to what was going on. Again, that's the issue with making them do something as opposed to it might take forever, but natural progression of things. I'm all for fighting for change, make it happen quicker. But when you start to mandate the stuff, I think that's where, or you try to force people, it becomes an issue. And the fact that they could give it to you and take it away, it all seemed like experiment to me anyway.
Well, Damon said, let's go back. If all men started showing up to fly with dresses on, you can bet the dress code could get changed. Why is that?
Because that infringes upon my rights.
It says DEI has diversified the workforce. The faction is power does not see this as a benefit to the faction. Therefore, it's going bye. The argument now is placing unqualified people in positions rather than considering qualified people who would have never been considered. And again, how many of our counterparts, let's just say, get jobs and are not qualified? But because of who they know, they get that position.
So I'll go back to a Drink Champs interview.
Yeah.
One of the best ever, David Banner.
Yeah.
He said it don't exist. Because he said, if I start a business, who I'm supposed to hire? My cousin, my brother, my sister, my auntie, to get our family going and grow this thing that way. So are you going to sue me because I'm hiring my people first? Or are you going to accept that as, okay, well, I see what you're doing there. You're getting the ball rolling. You're getting your business up. And I mean, if DEI is such a big thing, and y'all, I'm for it. I just love to play devil's advocate because I can see both sides of it. The designations are going to go away. Ain't gonna be no black business. Ain't gonna be no woman business. Ain't gonna be no Hispanic business. Ain't gonna be no small business. It's business. What kind of business? Clothes, food. Yeah. So there won't be any designations if the only reason that you were shopping is because I said I'm a black-owned business or Hispanic-owned business. I mean, that's the affirmative action piece where it works. That says I have to give these people a chance. So scaling back DEI, I think it's going to go away a lot quicker than people are expecting because it's doesn't really have, one, it ain't been around long, and two, it's causing more issues for the faction, if you will, than it is. I mean, there was a whole uproar. Was it the Asian students at Harvard? Like, we can't get in because you're letting the black people in. You're giving them a chance, which effectively says I don't have a chance because that's not available for me. So, like, you'll never be able to figure that out.
Blend and Bloom, what's going on, lady? She says it was law. All laws
Get me together.
could be taken back.
Mm.
Damon said, "You are correct, Blendon Bloom. And what we are witnessing is
Is
the
the
take
take
back."
back. Yeah, I mean, we've been preaching this forever. Start with your local elections, and that will roll up to where it matters. Because now he done scaled back DEI. He's saying, "Oh, we need to change the Constitution. I need another term." Like, people better pay attention to that. Like, they just said laws can be taken back, but we got to have a say so in it.
Moving on to still within this topic, a lot of people are giving Tabitha Brown flack for her recent video. It's kind of gone viral on Black Twitter. It's a 9-minute video. We're only going to watch a portion of it. I highly recommend you listen to the whole video, so you can understand where she is coming from as a Black woman who owns a company. And this is her I guess moment to let those who are planning to, what is the word I'm looking for, who are planning to boycott these companies. This is what her message to those people. Let's take a quick look.
Concerns me the most, and I want you to hear me and hear me well. If we all decide to stop supporting said businesses and say, I can't buy nothing from there, even the businesses who were affected by the DEI ban, right? What that does is you take all our sales and they dwindle down. And then those companies get to say, oh, your products are not performing. And they can remove them from the shelves and then put their preferred businesses on the shelves. And then what happens to all the businesses who've worked so hard to get where they are? Then what happens, right? Now, I know that something that could solve it is ownership of these big corporations, right?
And definitely agree with that. I think this is, if it hasn't already put some fire under people to start owning and having their own, this is your sign, your clear sign that you need to do that. I agree with her wholeheartedly. I believe instead of banning the entire store, that instead of going to get your toilet tissue, your cleaning products from Walmart or Target, you go and purchase those Black owned business items, whether that be the whole feminine products from the young lady in Target, or Tabitha Brown's seasonings, cookbooks, and dining ware, and then walk out the door and then go to Costco or wherever else you plan to go to purchase your other necessity items. I definitely agree that, and she indicated this in the video, and I know this being a business person myself, and I know you realize this as well, Free, that being able to do on your own what these big corporations have established is very difficult, and it's not something that you can just do overnight. Like, it's going to take some time. It's definitely going to take some time. Not to mention, she is under contract. She's legally bound. And so I myself am going to, and another concern is, can we really sustain not shopping at these places? Because it's hard not to, because of convenience, go down the street and pick something up from Walmart, as opposed to, I don't know, going to Family Dollar or going to Costco and buying in bulk. You have to be very deliberate. I am going to try my hardest to shop only for the Black owned products at these stores. It's gonna be hard though. I ain't gonna lie. It's gonna be hard.
Well, and I mean, part of it being hard, and not in particular for you, but for most people means increased pricing. We
Mhm.
go we go to Target, Walmart because they buy in such volume, they get big discounts that they can pass on to us. There was a particular Black-owned beauty supply. Was it on Cullen and Belford? I
Mhm.
mean, that's at the heart of the hood. You go in there, their prices for their products are at least $1 more than what you would pay at Walmart or Target.
Mhm.
I paid it because I understand the way the business works. I understand supporting the Black business and all of those things. But there are some people that just don't have that dollar. There are some people that don't have that 50 cent extra. And though that place don't take coupons and all these other things that are contributing factors into people making purchases. It's it's going to be difficult. It's hard. Um, just like I said earlier, though, having things is cool. Where are you going to store them? Where are you going to sell them? That is the piece. We don't have infrastructure to support ourselves this way. One of my favorite shows to ever come on Netflix was what was it, Killer Season, Killer Mike,
Mm.
and he tried to get from Atlanta to somewhere only using Black businesses. He eventually found a bike shop because he couldn't find like Uber's not Black owned. The other Lyft is not Black owned. The cab companies weren't Black owned. The bus system wasn't Black owned. So he found a Black bicycle shop, put together some stuff for a bike, rode over to the only Black owned coach bus people in the area, rode that bus over to somewhere else. He got off. He slept on the bench because there were no Black owned motels, hotels, Holiday Inns. He had to find just a lady that was cooking things out of her garden to eat because there were no Black owned establishments that were getting their food from a Black source. So it's difficult to do all of these things. It sounds good. It sounds great in theory, but without infrastructure, nothing can happen.
Agree.
We ain't doing nothing. If we have to depend on it being Black owned, you ain't getting no tires, you ain't getting no rims, you ain't getting no car, you ain't getting no gas, you ain't wearing no clothes, you're not brushing your teeth, you're not doing anything if you're relying on it to be completely Black owned.
So going back to the DEI, do you think companies are responsible to promote these
Um,
programs?
I don't like the word responsibility because I don't think they're responsible to do that. That takes the onus off of us as consumers to make responsible purchases. Like you said, you have to make a conscious effort to go into these places to buy just the Black products. They don't have to come out and tell you, "Hey, I sell Black products here." You just need to go in there and find out for yourself. And if they do, good. If they don't, leave. So I don't think it's their responsibility to promote that. Now, I do believe that if they're questioned about it, they do need to answer because now I need to know where you stand. You don't have it out here, but if I ask, I need to know where you stand so I can make an educated purchase.
I so I feel as if they are responsible companies if they are receiving federal monies.
Mm, mm,
If there are those companies that are getting money that maybe not a whole lot from my tax contributions, but some of it is my money. I think you should be somewhat responsible.
Yeah. How would they show their responsibility?
Yeah, that's for those DEI people to figure that out.
I mean, and I think like, and where does it start and where does it stop? I think
Yeah.
not knowing the stopping point is like a big barrier. I could go into a black owned store that has all black products and they got stuff up there on the white mannequin. You gonna be mad about that? Like there are some people that take it to that extreme.
Yeah, I
So
mean, like a lot of people have issues with the African prints being made in China.
it's money. It's a money grab. And I like what Blend and Bloom says. She said everybody is not going to agree what to do, but I know what I am going to do. And that is the key for every individual person that has any say in the topic. Do what you can do. Because I mean, I love her channel on TikTok. She was ahead of the curve on this. She was boycotting Walmart, and a lady, guess why? The boycott was broken of her followers. Guess what it was? Walmart said they had a Birkin purse.
Oh,
So
yeah, don't get me started with
you
that.
can't you want everybody to be on board. Everybody will jump on board until they see something they want. Like a purse. Oh, we can get them back in the store. Go get them shoes. Go get that purse. Right? They will market to you.
I mean, Blend and Bloom dropped the mic on this discussion. Everyone is not going to agree, and I think everyone needs to make the best decision for them and their family.
Yeah. Yeah. And unfortunately, the best decision for your family might not be the best decision for my family. And that is where the struggle is going to be.
Very much so. Very much so. Moving on to our next topic. Get a little lighthearted here, a little humor after this very serious conversation we just had. Free, did you know that? And I've got to read this so I don't mess it up because I got to have my facts straight. A survey from Mike showed that 29% of couples wait between 2 to 6 months into a relationship. 2 to 6 months into a relationship to fart. And that's about the same time that they wait to say, I love you. Now, I really did not think this was going to be a topic, but apparently people are talking about this. So the question is, farting in front of your significant other or partner a sign of trust, or does it kill the romance for you?
So I'm going to say it depends on how it's done.
Okay.
If we are in a position where we in a car, I mean, all you can do is let the window down, and I don't care what is going on. The universal symbol for I just farted is rolling the window down where it seems to be no reason. So if you are in the car with your significant other and everything's cool, and y'all might have just came from eating and some stuff might not have agreed with you, and you on that ride home, I mean, I'm not gonna look at you no different because I know that we're humans. There are certain things that all humans have in common. right?
Yes.
But at the end of the day, I would say it depends on how you do it. I actually saw a clip not too long ago. This guy, he was driving this car, he was going really slow, and he panned over, and his girlfriend was walking down the street as he was driving, and he was like, "Y'all, she got out of the car while it was moving because," and she got back in the car, and he put the camera on, and she's like, "I had to fart. I'm not gonna fart." He was like, "We've been together a year." I'm like, at what point? I don't know what the real answer to that is, but I will say, I'm not going to attribute that to trust. I'm going to say just the acceptance of your significant other. It ain't got to be a fart. Your smell does not magically go away as soon as you leave out of the bathroom. And what if it's a situation where y'all both rushing to go to the bathroom? He like, "Babe, you can go first." Like it just. I can see how it breaks down maybe a wall of comfortability with somebody, but I mean to hinge my whole I don't know trust on the fart. Yeah.
Well, I will say as a woman, I can understand where she was coming from because we have these social expectations and women are to be ladylike and passing gas is not quote unquote ladylike. I know from experience, my husband was like, when I first passed gas around, he was like, "Oh, girls are not supposed to fart." And I'm like, "Where did you get that from?"
Richard Pryor said women don't fart, they poop. He said it's all cute. Is it boop? Oop, I made a smelly. No, I think. But I understand the connection there with comfortability. Trust though, I don't know, but I definitely see the connection.
Yeah, yeah.
What is the time frame? I don't know. Now I'll say this. One time I had a one time, and she left, and in about 30 minutes, well, not even 30 minutes, I'll say 15 minutes, she came back.
Yeah.
And can I use your restroom? And you know, it was a have to use the restroom. So I mean, comfortability and if you got to go, you got to go. Don't you gonna blow your guts out trying to hold something in that it's got to go. Whether you do it there, whether you do it later, it's gonna have to go. It's gonna cause health issues.
That is true. So, because man, 2 to 6 months is a long time not to do that in front of your significant other. When do you think is the right time to let your guard down, to be comfortable enough to be able to do that?
So me, I'm a little bit different on most topics anyway, because I have to put in the human factor. This is where a lot of men and women conversations go off the rails because they try to stay in the man and the woman eras. This is a human thing. I could see if only men farted or only women farted, but humans do. Babies do this. Elderly people do this. So we know it's a natural function. We know that it's something that we don't want to do in front of somebody. And other people would probably prefer you not to. But at the same time, yeah, I tell you this. I think that's a lie. I think when whatever month y'all sleep together, and I don't mean sex, I mean sleep together, because you ain't controlling that while you sleep. And I've been in some situations where motorcycle took off. So, I mean, you can't control that. So what do you do at that point? That's like snoring. I mean, you don't want to do that in front of anybody, but you sleep. You can't help that.
Damon makes a good point. He says that dating has become pretending. You can't stay in character with a fart.
Agreed. I mean, you can't be cute and like that. It don't go together.
And you know, I'm not in the dating. I haven't been in the dating, but I hear stories, and I agree. Listening to the stories from some of my girlfriends, that it has become very much a whole pretend. You know, I'm this, I'm that, and I think letting your guard down says a lot, because now, as Damon indicated, you're not pretending anymore.
Right.
You are
Be
who you
you.
are. You're being
Right.
you. You're being human. You're being vulnerable.
People say it's the small stuff. Well, you can't see that.
Do you think men get more of a pass than women for?
Yeah, because y'all think we just nasty anyway. So I mean,
I'm glad you said that for me.
right? Yeah, hey, we ain't gonna pretend. We gonna get out of character. This is my character. Excuse me, babe. I'm sorry. You know, like I mean, it happens.
Yeah. I mean,
I think a fart is a little bit more less desirable than a burp, but it's gas. It's just coming out the different area. So, I mean, it happens. You know, I tell you what I don't like, and I take a fart over this. A woman that drinks out of a bottle, and you hear that, like you come on now, come on. Like I would rather you fart than sounding like an old dude on the corner drinking a 40. Like, come on.
I
Is that ladylike?
Yeah, and that's you know what's considered ladylike these days, because
So you'll wear your bonnet, but you won't fart.
Yeah,
You'll get on
there's a
floor
lot of
naked with no shoes, but you won't fart. Like, make
that
it make sense.
females do that make me, you know, if I had pearls, clutch my pearls. Like, I mean, Glorilla said it herself. She can't be with another. She can't find a husband or a man because she's too much of a man.
Hey, and you know what? It ain't that she can't find nobody; just ain't found the right one. I mean, it's somebody out there for everybody. I don't. I mean, I wholeheartedly believe that. I mean, and it may be some of these relationships that we see. Look, man, they look so missing. Man, that shouldn't be with each other. Yeah, because they just that real with each other. Maybe that works.
Maybe. Now we did a poll on YouTube and asked the question, when is a good time for you to let your guard down in a relationship? 67% of those who submitted their answers said 0 to 3 months.
And what percentage was that?
67%.
Yeah. Yeah, I ain't waiting no 6 months. Man, I've had a aneurysms.
And then 33% said never. It's never a right time to let your
I've heard that before too. I've heard that before. I've heard men
talk about that.
I've heard men that have been in relationships that say they've never heard or smelled their partner because they will get it. And I don't care where they are, what they're doing. they will leave.
Mm.
Hey,
Let's end on that note. I want to thank everybody for joining tonight. Shout
definitely
out
appreciate
to Free. Thank you very much. I had a good time tonight. I hope
you.
y'all did too. Make sure you join us again next Monday. I also will be live on Thursday speaking more relationship realities. And until next time, we will see y'all.
Peace out.